Okay, so we're jumping back to our next problem now, which is number 2. Find the average of values within an array. Okay, this is an old classic. This comes up quite frequently. This is a bit simple for an exam, but this could certainly be included, and it is included in a lot of exam questions. We're going to need an array for this. Normally, the array would be given to you, or you might just be told an array of 1,000 elements called temperatures. So let's just define one at the very beginning. But normally, if you're writing an answer in an exam, you don't need to define the array at the start. You can just assume that it exists. Okay. So I'm just going to say temperatures. There you go. Temp equals, and I'm going to make. Hopefully, the average is going to be 5. That I can work out in my head. Right. So I'm going to definitely need a loop. What type of loop am I going to need? Do I know how many times it's going to run, execute, or do I not? Yes, I do. So I'm going to use a count loop. So loop. Let's give it a variable, t, from 0 to 9. Now there's a simple little reason that I chose 0 to 9 instead of 1 to 10, because then I can use the variable t, which should be a capital letter. Then I can use the variable t as the reference to the number of my array. And if you remember, arrays start with 0. So the first element in an array is 0. So if I go 0 to 9, it'll still repeat 10 times, but I can use that. So it's very handy. So remember, if you're counting through an array, start at 0 and go to 1 less than the number of times that you thought you're going to have to repeat it. Okay, so in this case 10. 0 to 9 is 10. Okay, here we go. I'm going to say again, total, because the first thing, well, let's look at what I actually have to do. Let's put it down here. Look, these are the steps involved. Where'd that 10 come from? That's weird. These are the steps involved in working out an average. Add up the total of all the numbers, divide the total by the number of elements, and output the results. I hope that's not new to you. All right, that's how you calculate an average. So first of all, we're on this one first. So we're going to add up the total of all the numbers. So I'm going to need a variable to store that in. So I'm going to make one at the very start, just like I did before, and set it to 0. Okay, it doesn't matter which way around I do this, but there you go. I've got a total variable, and I've got my array. I'm going to loop from 0 to 9, and each time round I'm going to say total equal total plus temp, my array, and the way I reference one of those elements is using the variable t and square brackets, just like I would in Java. And loop. Now, it's not necessary to indent things, but it's handy and it's nice, so I'm going to do it. That has just gone through and it's added up the total of all the numbers and it's stored it in a variable called total. Now what I'm going to do is divide it by the number of elements, in this case 10, and I'm going to output that. So output, I can do this all in one line if I want to, output total divided by 10. Alright, output the result. So there you go. It's added up all the numbers in that loop. It's divided them by the number of elements, which is 10, and it's output the result. So let's give that a shot, see if it works. There we go, 5.5. Perfect. Okay. One final little thing. If I wanted to make it nicer, if you're told to in an exam, you could output something like the average of the elements in the array is something like that. But don't do it unless you're told to. Okay, excellent.